Live right here on this Tuesday on the early line on SportsGrid from playoff action around the association. Now to postseason reaction from the ice last night in the Stanley Cup postseason and setting the stage for what we will see around the National Hockey League on this Tuesday evening as well. Who better to do it than from the NHL, Pete Jensen, joining us live right here on this Tuesday morning on TEL. Pete, as always, we appreciate the time. Thanks for being here following a doubleheader of Monday night Stanley Cup playoff action.
Of course, guys, this is the best time of year with the basketball and hockey playoffs going on at the same time. And we got some home cooking with the Carolina Hurricanes. That looks like a different team compared to previous postseasons. I know they've always been a home team that has been really strong in the playoffs, but always missing those extra goals or two or three in a particular series. And I think in this series, the possession dominance is just overwhelming the Washington Capitals.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Pete. A big victory for Carolina last night. They take a commanding 3-1 series lead on home ice. And finally, speaking of home ice advantage, in our second round set in the Western Conference between the Oilers and the Golden Knights, a team wins at home and a game features fewer than 7 goals. Edmonton now up 3-1 with a decisive win last night, planking Vegas 3-0 last night north of the border. Edmonton, a slight home ice favorite, and a total of 6.5 does stay under. The Oilers now, Pete, a commanding 3-1 series advantage. What have the Oilers figured out in this second round set against the Golden Knights?
Well, it was a good start for them yesterday, and of course they had won each of their previous 6 playoff games in come-from-behind fashion, so they got off to the early lead, never looked back. Stuart Skinner with a second career playoff shutout. I mean, that's been the whole of the team this season. They had to turn to Calvin Pickard at different points in the regular season, and even in the playoffs, he's a little banged up. They went back to Skinner, and he really delivered for them there. You know, this team for years and years has been carried by Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl and Evan Bouchard, who are 3 of the best point producers in the postseason in NHL history. But this postseason has been different in the secondary scoring, really all postseason long, from Game 3 against the Kings until now, when they've won 7 of 8. Corey Perry's been a beast. Connor Brown's been a beast. Evander Kane, who came back from missing the entire regular season with an injury. He has 7 points, all at even strength in 9 playoff games and 4 5-on-5 goals, which is among the league leaders. So to me, it's the supporting cast of the Edmonton Oilers just exceeding everybody's expectations based on what was a very mediocre regular season for Edmonton.
And we understand with Edmonton, Pete, we always love that offense, but boy, oh boy, if Skinner's going to be pitching shutouts here in the playoffs, that certainly bodes really well for the Edmonton Oilers. But we do got hockey tonight, one game standalone, 8 p.m. tonight. That's Winnipeg and Dallas in Dallas today. A favorite here of around a -150 price on Dallas and a total that's listed at 5.5. Dallas does have a 2-1 series lead, and we're still waiting on regular season Hellebuck to show up in the playoffs, Pete. What gives tonight between the Jets and the Stars?
So Winnipeg has a chance, of course, to bounce back here in hockey. Any given game, even if you're outshot, right, 2-1, 3-1, you could see a surprise victory, especially with a goaltender of Connor Hellebuck's caliber. But when you look at the road splits for Hellebuck, he's been the worst goalie in the league on the road this postseason. 0-4, 772. My goodness. I mean, usually a bad save percentage is in the 800s. This one's in the 700s. 21 goals allowed in 4 road playoff games. And Dallas has looked a lot better at home this postseason compared to previous postseasons, thanks to Mikko Rantanen. I mean, Mikko Rantanen has been absolutely ridiculous. He has to be the favorite for the Conn Smythe and for playoff MVP. 3+ points in 5 of his past 6 playoff games is unheard of. This time of year, things get clamped down and the offense dries up, right? Not for Mikko Rantanen. This guy is on an absolute rampage right now.
An absolute heater, Pete. He did not score or record a point nor an assist in that third game, I guess it was. No, game number 2, against the Winnipeg Jets, but responded in a big way in game number 3 for Dallas to take that 2-1 series lead. A goal and 2 dimes in that third game. It was tied at 2-2 entering the third period of the opening game in Dallas of this second round set. The Stars pulled away with 3 decisive goals in that huge third period. So, Pete, when you look at the Western Conference odds right now, the Oilers already own a 3-1 series lead against the Vegas Golden Knights. The Stars favored tonight on home ice. You saw a minus 150 price to open up that 3-1 series lead over the Winnipeg Jets. Pete, if that is the Western Conference Finals that we see as the results and the odds makers expect, who do you give the edge, Edmonton or Dallas?
I think Dallas is the stronger team from top to bottom. I think that you have obviously the star power on the Oilers with those top 3 guys, but the way Rantanen's playing, how deep that forward group is, I mean, I would trust that forward group any day over the, second, third, and fourth lines of the Edmonton Oilers. They've been great stories this postseason. I also trust Jake Ottinger more than Calvin Pickard or Stuart Skinner in net. So I guess maybe a big X factor if they end up playing each other could be whether Miro Heiskanen comes back from injury. Right now, Thomas Harley for the Stars has been the unsung hero, I think, of the entire postseason with how he's, leading the entire NHL in total skating distance. He's among the average ice time leaders. He's chipping in goals left and right and producing points as well. He's been a guy, while Heiskanen has been out, like you got to be on Thomas Harley in the props market because he has an insane workload right now, and he's delivering with quite nice efficiency for Dallas. I would give the edge to the Stars, and that's my pick to win this series and to win the Cup after what they did to the Avalanche in the first round.
And you could see a quick change in those odds if Dallas does, in fact, take that 3-1 series advantage with a home victory tonight over the Jets in game number 4. By the way, for Mikko Rantanen, who has 17 points in his last 6 playoff games, as Pete alluded to, minus 290 tonight on the FanDuel Sportsbook to record at least a point against Winnipeg. To the Eastern Conference we go with Pete up next. A doubleheader last night in the Stanley Cup postseason that started in the Eastern Conference in Raleigh at the home of the Carolina Hurricanes, who have taken a 3-1 series lead over the Washington Capitals. The Caps, of course, a historic season with Alexander Ovechkin, best regular season record in the Eastern Conference, but now a game away from having their season come to a close. The NHL's Pete Jensen with us once again. Carolina, a 5-2 victory. After an Ovechkin power play goal, Pete, midway through that third and final period last night, the Caps did cut it to a 1-goal margin. Carolina scored twice from then on out to win 5-2. The 2 victories for the Canes in games 3 and 4 at home by a 7-goal differential. How has Carolina, Pete, been so dominant in this second round series against the Capitals?
I think that the possession style, we talk about it all the time, 5-on-5 shots on goal, shot attempts differential. It's been heavy in Carolina's favor in this series, and they've also gotten outstanding goaltending from Freddie Anderson. You guys probably remember through the years, through some losses and many victories for Carolina, I've kind of been like a Freddie Anderson apologist. And I think that his body of work over his career, he probably deserves a little better. 916 career save percentage in 80 career postseason games. That's a lot of experience for a guy that's 35 years old, has had some recent injury, health issues, and concerns. But when he's healthy, the Canes win more than not. Made some mistakes last year in Game 6 against the Rangers when they lost in the second round. But it looks like Freddie is in top form and going to get the Carolina Hurricanes at least to the conference final. And I think that what he's done in this series, specifically facing high danger shots, I mean, he was 21 for 21 entering Game 4, and that just doesn't happen. I mean, those are the highest percentage shots. So, yeah, props to him. And I think he's helped the Canes reach another level this postseason.
Take a look at the Eastern Conference Finals here on the FanDuel Sportsbook. To win it, plus 105, those Carolina Hurricanes, followed by the Florida Panthers at plus 165. Then the Toronto Maple Leafs at a 440 price. And then we just talked about the Capitals all the way down at 33-1. Looking at the price points and the teams that are expected to win the Eastern Conference Finals, do you agree with it? And also, Is there a dog that might be able to come through here as opposed to the Carolina Hurricanes?
I mean, the Maple Leafs, that's interesting that they're so far back there because they did win the first 2 games at home. They lost the 2 on the road. Home teams have held serve in that series. We know that Florida is so resilient, so strong when playing from behind, but I think this is a little bit different of a Leafs team this year. I know there's been the injury concern with Anthony Stolarz, and maybe that's, people are losing faith in them, but they are outscoring Florida in the series at 5-on-5 right now, 11-10. I love the contributions and the props market appeal of a guy like Matthew Nyes, who is the NHL leader in both high danger goals this postseason and high danger shots on goal, playing on the first power play and also the top line. For Toronto, it boils down to Austin Matthews. Like, is this guy going to score? Is he healthy enough to score a big goal in a big spot for this team? They desperately need it. I think the series has been close enough where like 1 or 2 of those goals from Matthews could really tilt the scale and actually have Toronto dethrone the defending champs. The series has been that close.
And when you look at it, Pete, only 1 game tonight, of course, in Stanley Cup playoff action in Big D. Stars a -150 home favorite to take a 3-1 series lead against the Winnipeg Jets. Tomorrow will be game number 5 up in the 6th between the Leafs and the reigning champs in the Florida Panthers. And so far, each of our 2 teams have won each of their 2 games on home ice. And yet Florida, a slight road ice favorite for game number 5 tomorrow. Do you think the odds are fair to have the reigning champs as a road favorite in Toronto in a decisive game 5?
Yes, Florida is deeper. They were my pick to win the series. Before I was given some deserved love to the Maple Leafs for hanging around with a team that could get to the final and play like a Dallas. That's where I would lean if I was making a pick right now. Florida was my pre-playoff pick to make the Cup final, and they've been really strong in this series despite facing some adversity. Brad Marchand is back. We haven't seen the very best from Matthew Tkachuk, but I think it's coming. Yeah. Sam Bennett has been a beast. I know, a couple of dicey plays here and there, but overall he's bringing the offense. That was a huge goal last game. And Aaron Ekblad, when he's in the lineup, Panthers are a pretty damn good team. So you have to look at them as the leading team to get back to the Cup final in the East.
Pete, appreciate it. Hour 3 next.